Level 1. The Courier. You start small because small things expose big weaknesses. A package, a phone, a note, something light enough to forget. That is the trap. You think the test is courage. It is not. The test is whether you ask questions you were not invited to ask, whether your eyes wander, whether your hands hesitate, whether you can carry weight without needing meaning. Later, you learn something stranger. Mossad has publicly recruited for operations, intelligence, technology, cyber, and administration. Not every door opens with a gun and a fake passport. Some open with paperwork, with logistics, with trust measured in tiny motions. You were never being judged for what you carried. You were being judged for what you noticed. Then they ask about the second man on the corner. Level 2. The Watcher. You stop carrying objects. Now you carry routines. The blue jacket at the cafe. The woman who misses the same bus twice. The man who always turns left, then checks glass instead of mirrors. You learn that most people leak themselves in patterns. What time they arrive, what hand holds the key, what mood changes when the phone buzzes. You are no longer moving through the city. You are reading it. Public descriptions of Mossad's collections department call it the largest branch, with officers and stations abroad under diplomatic and unofficial cover. That sounds grand from a distance. Up close, it feels smaller, colder. Foreign intelligence is not always explosions and headlines. Sometimes it is 10 days of boredom broken by one wrong glance. Sometimes the oldest tools win because human beings still repeat themselves. Then the first face you memorize looks back like it already knows yours. Level 3. The Legend Carrier. They do not hand you a weapon first. They hand you a biography. A cleaner job. A believable reason to travel. A softer version of your voice. A history with edges sanded down until strangers accept it faster than your real one. You rehearse it in elevators, in taxis, in bathroom mirrors. After a while, the cover stops feeling like a costume. It starts feeling easier than the truth. That part is not fiction. Historic Mossad operations depended on patient preparation and documentation. Public exhibits on Operation Finale, the mission that captured Adolf Eichmann, displayed maps, case files, hand-forged documents, and a quiet machinery of identity built before the operation ever reached its decisive moment. The world remembers the headline. Systems like this remember the paperwork. They know a forged document can move history before a single door opens. And the day your cover feels warmer than your own name, you stop asking who is wearing whom. Level 4. The Case Officer. Now the risk has a heartbeat sitting across from you. You meet people who carry secrets like fever. A scientist with debts. A traveler with access. A bureaucrat with resentment. A lonely man who wants to matter. You are not paid to love them. You are paid to see the pressure points before they admit them to themselves. Fear, vanity, grief, revenge, money. Every source has a price. And the ugliest part is that the price is rarely cash. Public descriptions are unusually clear here. FAS identifies case officers at overseas stations directing agents and sources, so this level feels less like fantasy and more like gravity. You begin to understand why power inside intelligence is never clean. A source can trust you more than family. The system can still value only what that source knows. If they could save lives by ruining their own, would you still ask them to keep going? You already know the answer forming in your throat. Then one source leans forward and asks the only dangerous question: why should I trust you? Level 5. The liaison ghost. The rooms get brighter. The people get harder. Now it is hotel glass, embassy corridors, secure cars, careful smiles. No one says the real thing first. Everyone circles it. Public reporting says Mossad's political action and liaison department handles ties with friendly services and even with states that do not maintain normal diplomatic relations with Israel. That sounds elegant on paper. In practice, it means you learn to speak in implication, omission, and timing. This is where your innocence dies in a suit. Ally stops meaning friend. It means useful for now. Information becomes currency. Delay becomes leverage. Courtesy becomes camouflage. You withhold the full truth from people standing on your side of the table, because national interests rarely overlap for long. If secrecy protects your side, when does it become betrayal of everyone else? No one answers that directly. They just pour more coffee and continue the meeting. In secret diplomacy, the smile is part of the camouflage. Level 6. The technical shadow. You move farther from the street and closer to the screen. At first, it feels cleaner, safer. The world arrives in fragments now. Signals, images, access points. Quiet systems built so other people can move, listen, or verify without being seen. Mossad's own public-facing language emphasizes innovation and technology, and public sources describe a technology department built to support operations. It has openly recruited technical talent because modern intelligence does not run on nerve alone. It runs on engineers, coders, analysts, and people who can turn distance into advantage. That distance changes you. When you are not physically there, conscience arrives late. You tell yourself you are only enabling, only structuring, only improving the picture. But technology can bleach the human color out of a decision. A face becomes a frame. A life becomes a node. A consequence becomes a downstream issue for someone else. It all feels manageable until the screen shows someone you know, and suddenly the distance collapses. The screen makes everything easier until it shows a familiar face. Level 7. The Special Tasks Ghost.
The projections are stable.
This is where secrecy stops feeling glamorous and starts feeling medical.
Caution
Cold
without
rooms,
overextending.
compartmented
Controlled
briefings,
adjustments will
sentences
yield the best
with
outcome.
pieces missing on purpose.
We'll review this
Publicly
again
cited
soon.
descriptions often refer to a special operations division, sometimes transliterated as Metzada, alongside functions tied to psychological warfare and deception. You do not get the whole picture. That is not a flaw. That is the architecture. The system protects itself by making sure no one soul carries the entire moral burden at once. But you still carry enough. You learn the ugliest truth late. Secrecy is not prestige. It is insulation. It keeps outrage away from the people authorizing, shaping, and enabling what must never become public argument. You tell yourself, compartmentation preserves focus. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it just helps decent people do things they would reject in full daylight. By now, your sleep is lighter, your language flatter, your justification smoother. Success means the newspaper prints nothing.
I must
History
confront this.
proves nothing. Your existence becomes a rumor
This
with excellent
is
timing.
who I am.
At this level, success means the world never learns your name. Level 8, the ghost who briefs power. You travel less now. You disappear more. The battlefield is no longer a border, a hotel, or a dead drop. It is a room, a table, a briefing that lands 5 minutes earlier than another, a sentence framed one way instead of another. Mossad publicly says its intelligence helps decision-makers shape national security policy. Britannica describes it as one of the 3 major pillars of Israel's intelligence system, focused outward rather than inward. From here, that mission feels less dramatic than you imagined. It feels administrative in the most dangerous possible way. You start to understand what real influence looks like. Not action, selection. What reaches the table? What gets delayed? What is emphasized? What is left unsaid because one omission can move a state faster than 10 speeches? This should feel like arrival. It does not. It feels like permanent subtraction. Your name matters less. Your opinions matter only when stripped of personality. Your victories cannot be celebrated. Your failures may never be fully confessed. You wanted access, then status, then control. What you got was invisibility so complete it started eating the edges of your own face. And one day, a new courier walks in, carrying your beginning, ending. You finally understand the rule nobody says out loud. The best ghost is not the deadliest one. It is the one history cannot confidently prove existed. The door opens. A young courier steps inside. He holds something small. He tries not to stare. Someone takes the package without greeting him by name. Then they ask him the question that built you. Did anyone follow you? Research grounding for the factual elements above came from Mossad's public description of its mission and technology emphasis, Mossad-related recruitment language published on gov.il. Britannica's description of Mossad as one of Israel's 3 major intelligence organizations focused on foreign intelligence. FAS's public description of departments such as collections, political action and liaison, research, technology, and special operations, and museum materials describing Operation Finale artifacts, including maps, case files, hand-forged documents, and goggles used during the Eichmann abduction narrative, Mossad Gov. Il. Britannica. FAS, Museum of Jewish Heritage, the National World War II Museum. If you want, I can next turn this into a version with built-in pause marks, emphasis cues, and on-screen B-roll suggestions for editing.